High dynamic range, or HDR for short, is without a doubt the most exciting advance in TV technology in the last decade. The world in which we live has an enormous range of luminosity, from dark nights to brilliant skies. Human vision has evolved to make the most of it, as well as to perceive a very broad range of colors. Unfortunately, the display devices that almost all of us use today, I'll just call them conventional TVs, fail pretty dramatically at representing this range of luminosity, and also can display only a fraction of the colors that the eye can see. HDR TVs do much, much better. Now for me, the really exciting part of this is that although games need to use different algorithms when rendering for HDR displays, typically involving deeper MRTs and tweaked tone mapping, supporting HDR does not require radical increases in processing power like 4K does. It's mostly a matter of connecting an HDR-capable device, such as PS4 Pro, to an HDR-capable display. To give you a feeling for the HDR difference, here's a picture of a San Francisco sunset. This is actually being shown to you using HDR TVs, but we are restricting the image quality to roughly what a conventional display can represent. Looks pretty, doesn't it? But here it is instead, using the full power of HDR. The difference is amazing. HDR is very new technology. Standards are still in flux, and the game creators are definitely still figuring out how to best take advantage of the displays. We will not expect all developers to initially support HDR on PS4 Pro, but for those that do, well, let me just give you a glimpse or two. Here is Days Gone from Sony's Bend studio, once again restricted to what a conventional TV can display. So this is utilizing all the detail of 4K, but the luminosity and color are quite similar to what was shown at E3. I'm going to turn on HDR now and show you what changes. Whatever it is that your eye expects to see to convince you that something is real, HDR is supplying that. The colors in the clothes, the brightness of the sun, these all represent a level of photorealism that you've never experienced in a game. Daytime scenes are great for showcasing HDR, but nighttime scenes show its potential as well. Here, the Freaker Horde has come out to feed. Luckily, crafting is a big part of Days Gone, and Deacon has managed to assemble a few Molotov cocktails. Those who played Naughty Dog's Uncharted 4 may remember this interactive chase scene. You're now seeing it at much higher resolution and in HDR, which makes it even more of a spectacle. Part of why image quality improves so much with HDR is that it's possible to have key areas of the screen, such as these explosions, that are dozens of times brighter than what a conventional TV can display. This is Fetch, the hero in infamous light from Sucker Punch. Fetch is a superhero who can harness the power of neon lights. If you think that sounds like something that would show off HDR well, you'd be right. We believe that the potential of HDR is incredible. But you don't need a 4K TV or an HDR TV to experience the benefits of PS4 Pro. The game knows what sort of display the console is hooked up to, and consequently developers are free to tailor the experience to best fit the type of TV being used. So if you connect PS4 Pro to an HD TV, here's some of what you'll see. First up is a comparison of standard model and PS4 Pro graphics on Paragon. Epic Games has chosen to increase the quality of the graphics in a great number of ways: enhanced visual effects, procedural ground cover, higher scene complexity, greater texture fidelity, dynamic reflections, and more. Warner Brothers is supporting HD TVs on Shadow of Mordor with a number of different modes. Here you can see how super sampling anti-aliasing is used to bring the detail of the high-resolution imagery over to a 1080p display. This is For Honor from Ubisoft again, this time playing on an HD TV. You can see how the extra power of the new console is used to boost the visual density of the scenes, and also to bring much of the impressive richness of the 4K graphics over to lower resolution displays. So you may have noticed that several of these titles, including Paragon, Infamous First Light, and Shadow of Mordor, are titles that have already been released. That's another aspect of the PS4 Pro experience. A number of games that you already own may have been patched to play better on the console. We're referring to this upgrading of your library as forward compatibility. Patches for over a half dozen first-party titles are in the works, as well as quite a few from our third-party partners. Finally, I'd like to show you how PS4 Pro works with the PSVR headset. We are very proud of the breakthrough experiences that the headset provides with the standard model. With PS4 Pro, the developers can choose to increase the crispness of the VR scenes, make special effects richer, or to offer higher frame rates, making your VR experiences even more immersive. For Farpoint, Impulse Gear chose to focus on the detail and reality of the scenes. They have roughly doubled the rendered pixel count from that of the standard model, allowing them to breathe further life into their virtual universe. With PS4 Pro, we aim to provide developers with the tools and technologies that can further their creative vision. One developer that's truly embraced the potential of the new console is Guerrilla Games. Let's take a look at some never-before-seen gameplay from the highly anticipated Horizon Zero Dawn, which showcases what can be achieved on both 4K and high dynamic range displays. Thank you.
Nearly there.